I am John Gruendike. I am a senior capability manager with Frito-Lay and our parent company PepsiCo. So what that means is basically for me, I handle all technician training with all of our analytics, predictive maintenance, and all that stuff. So as you can see here, just a quick background, been in maintenance my whole life, born and raised on a farm in upstate New York, so Dad stuck a wrench in my hand at a very young age. Ran my own company for a long time as an owner-operator, worked in a machine shop for a long time on diesel equipment. Got with Pepsi about 10 years ago up in Buffalo, New York, working on their OTR equipment. Moved over to Frito, came down here to Orlando, worked on their site over there. From there, moved over to Class 5 and 6 equipment, and then finally over here at headquarters. So you can see under me there, training, diagnostics, preventative and predictive maintenance, shop infrastructure, analytics, and of course our big comer, EVs. That's going to be our future. We have a plan right now over the next 8 years to transform 85% of our fleet to EV, so very aggressive. So some propaganda, you guys have seen all of our products. So Frito-Lay this year will be a $30 billion company by itself. So 1 billion cases we handle, 250 million miles we drive. So got to have the trucks up and running every single day, the whole point of analytics. So 80,000 assets. We are North America's largest private fleet. This is a good problem to have and a bad problem. So looking at our Orlando shop that I was just at this morning, we've got 140 assets there with between 2 technicians. Problem is 7 subclasses out of that group. So it's not like we just have an international, that's all we have to be good at. You know, we got transits, we got sprinters, we got new Peterbilts, Hino trucks, international. We got yard tractors there, Ottawa. So the guys have to be good at everything. And on the Pepsi side, we even take care of our material handling equipment. So that's where our analytics come in. It's a lot of equipment to work through. We run GPS units. We run the geotab units in our trucks. So you can see the number there with the arrow. 80,000 assets. We get over 500,000 fault codes a day coming into our assets. We got some pretty good people at PepsiCo. We've tried our best. You can see a couple of examples here on the bottom and on the right. These guys will download everything into a spreadsheet, pivot table it, email it to our techs. We've tried breaking it down by what's, the most important that's happening. We've broken it down by location, by technician assigned, and, when we send the stuff out to the technicians, it's basically, just potluck what they're going to go work on. So number one priority, as I mentioned, 140 assets between 2 techs, we have to be efficient. So what we're looking for is that mountain of information coming in, to have a company go through that and come up with the small nuggets of wisdom that we need to go after that's going to down our trucks, and what the severity process is with that. So 4-step process for us. The first thing we did is we created the SMEs in our own company that were going to manage this for us. This is highly important. So we took the best of our best mechanics. They not only need to repair the trucks, but they also need to be able to teach that to the other technicians that are at the bottom side of capability. So we want to move up those folks, make sure they know how to fix the trucks. Also becomes very critical to standardize the diagnosis and the repairs. So this is a list of the work that those folks do. Very labor intensive when we first started, and we've gotten a lot better at that. Started out very humbly working with uptake. We had a problem with our CNG assets. So we had a small pool of tractors, 1,258 with 12-liter CNG engines in them. When we started, we only had 4 insights. Today, totally different number. Just with OTR alone, we've got 51 insights. Altogether with Class 5 and 6, we're running probably 150 models today over those 40,000 power assets that we have. You can see the numbers here. So P6 and P7 was last year. We had 1,498 insights over 1,100 assets. We had 694 insights being worked over 422 cases. Bottom numbers today. So we've created a whole bunch more models to work with. And that number is still pretty good if you consider it over 40,000 assets, 3,800 active, 2,800 assets. Our case counts 1,500, that's tripled since last year, which is good. We want to see that number. Third number there, that's a rolling 30 days. So we're plus 26% where we were 30 days ago. That's where it counts. We want to make sure we're fixing the trucks right the first time and they're staying fixed. So that way we avoid all the breakdowns. Past, present, and future. As I said, we started with 11 steps for us. We'll get into this a little bit more. Today, we're down to 4 steps from creation to completion. Our future, what we want to get into is no human involvement whatsoever. So if we can get to around 95% accuracy with the insight, we don't want any human involvement at all. The API goes in and creates it. The technician goes, fixes it. It goes back through the automation, and we don't touch it other than the technician. So as we look into EVs and that kind of stuff, that's where we want to end up, especially with all the new sensor technology coming out. So a little bit about our process. We create the case. That's all the SME does today. He goes in and pushes that button. From there, it goes through our API. Each insight is mapped to our standard work order template, and that also means our determination of what we want for low, medium, and high severity. Tech goes in and completes the diagnosis and repair. He closes the work order with the 3 C's. It goes back through the API, feeds into uptake. The AI learns from the work order, and we get better modeling from it. Some of our successes, as we talk CNG, our biggest problem was we had cylinder head failures at about 500,000 miles. So what we wanted to figure out was what was the truck telling us before that engine failed. So we came up with those original 4. We have this now down to about 90% accuracy. So I was in Topeka, Kansas at one point, walk over talking to the tech. Hey, what you doing? I'm doing an overhead on a CNG. What's the problem with it? Well, it's got a misfire. We had it back at the garage at the dealership the month before. They did an overhead on it. I did an overhead on it the month before that, and we couldn't get it to stay. So I called up the engineering team that was working with Uptake. I said, hey, run this truck through your logarithm, see what it comes out to be. He says, yeah. He says, that truck should have had the cylinder head off it a month ago. Took it over to Cummins. Sure enough, we avoided a breakdown. The great part of this is it goes from a $30,000 expense with total engine failure down to a $3,000 head replacement with no towing. That's a win for us. That's what we're after. Moving over to Ford Transits, same thing. We got trucks that aren't regenning. So we get these overcooling insights that come in where the truck doesn't make operating temperature. It'll never regen properly. So what we've been finding is we've been finding a lot of EGR cooler failures, but with trucks that have already had the EGR cooler failure, coolant's been contaminated, so we're seeing a lot of thermostat failures. So we've been adding to it. Of course, we get our other analytics coming in, low oil pressure. We ran that truck down, 12-quart system, 9 quarts of oil in it. Bad EGR coolers, bad thermostats, low battery voltage. That's a big one for us if you're in a cold weather area. You know, you get around October, you get that first cold snap, that battery's gonna die. We can predict it and find it now. NOx sensors, DPFs, DEF reductant heaters, we've seen a lot of problems around that. So I'll leave you with this. I had an email come in this morning, read through the tech, his story on it. He had cylinder number 4 misfire on a tractor. Goes through, it's a CNG engine, so it's got a spark plug and coil. Goes through, does all the diagnostics on it, finds nothing wrong with the plug or the coil or the wiring. Most mechanics would have gave up on it. He's one of our SMEs. He keeps digging. He does a compression test on it. 240 PSI is normal. That truck's got 120 pounds on it. Does a leak down test on it, finds a bad head on the tractor. So that saved us again from a $30,000 engine replacement to being able to go in there and take the head off and change it for a $3,000 repair. So as far as Frito-Lay goes and PepsiCo, we don't spend any money without a return on investment. So we're paying for this program, the R&M savings, the towing savings, saving on rentals, all of that stuff, not sending the truck to the dealerships, doing it in-house. We're making money off of this system. You guys can too. highly encourage it. All right, I'll turn it over to whoever's next.